Hey guys, it's Rich with your Monday Spot in the Pagan Perspective. This week we're talking about what makes you, you. Cara actually sent us two topic questions for this 1 week, so I'm going to try to get through both of them relatively quickly and easily, and hopefully I don't do as much stuttering on this, the fifth or so take that I've done. Anyway, the first question comes from Belfasterd. I'm sorry if I've gotten your username incorrect, but let's move on from that. I had a topic that I am not sure if it was touched on before or not. I've read some books on Wicca and similar pagan paths, and I just recently picked up a book on Druidry, and I'm having a hard time understanding it. I guess what I'm wondering is what makes a Druid a Druid. Now, I haven't done as much research on Druids and Druidry to actually speak intelligently enough on what it is at their core essence. I don't feel comfortable, spouting out information. The little information that I do know, I don't want to spout that out, and I don't want to perpetuate the false knowledge going around or the assumed truth that goes around. That question is probably better suited towards Danny or somebody else on this channel who has researched more about Druids and Druidry. However, Cara did put in an adaptation. What makes whatever you consider yourself to be, what makes you that? So, as you guys know, I consider myself a Christian Pagan. It's one of the few labels I will actually put on myself because I think we all know how I feel about labels. One of the things that I do, and I try to do it every couple years, and it's a growing thing that happens time and time again as my beliefs either drastically change or as something new comes into the mix, is I take out my Book of Shadows, which, yes, I have done a makeover to it, and if I can move it around here, I have what I call my beliefs page. It basically puts down exactly what I believe at that time, and I have actually dated it as well, so I know when was the last time that I actually updated this this free-form writing of what it is that I believe. But basically what makes me a Christian Pagan is that I follow Christ in my practice. It's something that works for me. I know it doesn't work for everybody out there. I know some people, they don't work with any deity in particular at all. So basically what makes me, and me as a Christian Pagan, as I define a Christian Pagan, or as I define my my branch of Christian Paganism, is that I have forged it in my own way. I have, gone through one way and another way and hit up against walls here and said, okay, I'm not going to go up over that wall because it's really not going to be that fruitful getting up over there. I'm just going to go down this path or this walkway. I'm going to forge my way through this brush here instead. Now, I know I threw out a lot of analogies out there, but the point I'm trying to make is that my practice of Christian Paganism is my own. I don't think there's going to be anybody out there who has the exact same practice from one person to another. It's just not going to happen. And even the same people from day to day, their practice usually changes even in a little tiny way. Maybe it's something that you learn, especially if you're actively studying. Maybe it's something that you learned one day that you did not know before. Maybe it's a new use for an herb. Maybe it's a new use for stone or something like that, a crystal, whatever. Maybe it's something like that, that it changes your practice in little ways. So basically what makes a Christian Pagan in my eyes, as I can vouch for at least my practice of Christian Paganism, is what makes a Christian Pagan is however you have forged your own way. You make your life your path, your practice, whatever you define that as. I define it as my practice. I have defined my practice on my own, in my own way, on its own merits, seeing what has worked and what has not worked for me. That is what I define my practice as whenever it comes to Christo-paganism. And for somebody else, if they immediately said, hey, that they're a Christo-pagan, I would probably assume that they believed in Christ as one of their primary, if not their primary deity, and that they do some sort of pagan-type ritual or pagan-type acts, or types of rituals that are more prominent in that pagan practice, such as the casting of circle, the casting of spells, the use of herbs and stones, or runes, tarot, divination of any sort. Have your pick of the myriad of things that pagans do from one practice to another, and that's kind of what I would define them as, except with using Christ as one of their predominant deities, or a deity in a pantheon of theirs. That is what I would consider a Christo-pagan. That was the most simple explanation for the longest roundabout way to get to it. So, with that being said, let's get to the second question. And this one comes from Mark, who writes, I am very new to this, and I do believe that my path is here. And I would like to know, does anybody need to worship something like Thor, Isis, etc. to be pagan? In short, no. In long form, you can have whatever deities you want, or no deities at all. You can practice a pagan-type practice, or at least as I would define a pagan-type practice, by pure science. The beings that we come to, the deities that we call upon, especially for soft polytheists, are not necessarily figures. They're not beings themselves. They are a fluid energy that goes from being male to female to, something in between. It doesn't have a certain persona. It doesn't have a certain form. It is just energy. And that is the basic definition of what I would call a soft polytheist. So no, you don't have to believe in any certain deity in order to be pagan. Short answer, longer explanation. Now, with that being said, I do want to say that if you go the route of that you're just coming into this practice, that you're just figuring everything out, or you're starting to figure everything out, because let's all admit right here, right now, we will never all figure it all out. There's always something else that will be out there not figured out. Anywho. So, if you're just starting to figure this out, what I would say is keep yourself open to all options. Whenever you're coming into a pagan type of practice, you come into it and you say, you know what, I don't necessarily need to work with this deity in particular, nor do I feel called to go to this deity in particular, and nor are they coming to me. So let's save all of ourselves the heartache of trying to force upon a relationship that may or may not be there, and let's just deal with the energy that that deity has. So, say something like for me, I work with Sophia, and let's say I wanted to philosophize on some wisdom aspect, or something that I wanted to understand deeper. I wanted to gain the knowledge of that wisdom. Let's say I wasn't working with her at the time. So for me, what I would do is I'd say, okay, I need to find those energies wherever they are present, whether it be in a color, whether it be in a stone, an herb, make sure that they're safe. Oils, same thing. Make sure that they're safe to be used if you're using them or ingesting them, stuff like that. Disclaimer. I'm sorry if you guys hear the noise out there. Anyway, if you're not working with a goddess or a god of wisdom, go to a library or go outside a library. Go to a labyrinth where you can walk the labyrinth and you can come to the center and you can be in the center, just being right then and there in that spot. And imagine that as your mind, like you're going into the inner depths of your mind. That will help you with gaining wisdom. Other things that you can do is alter your eating habits. Eating things that help get your synapse snapping, as an English teacher way back said. Dietary nutrition does have an effect on the way our body picks up certain energies. So, as most of you guys know, especially if you watch my personal channel, I am a huge fan of coffee. For me, coffee is the lifeblood. Anyway, changing your dietary habits, maybe strategically ingesting caffeine at a certain amount, helps get your engine revving, stuff like that. Stuff like that would help you gain that wisdom to come into your life. So, that's just one of plenty of examples that I could probably give on different deities. So, I hope that helped. Again, you don't have to necessarily work with a certain deity to have that type of energy. You can, just work with the aspects of that deity rather than the deity itself. Now, I will say with this, if a deity is calling on you or you're feeling called towards a certain deity, you might want to pay attention to that just a little bit. So I think that's all that I have for today. Until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.